Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews, coming at you guys with my ranking of Season 1 to Season 9 of The Walking Dead. Alright, so with the end of Season 9 coming last night, I thought it would be kind of fun, right, to put together a list of my, seasons of The Walking Dead ranked. So we got Season 1 to Season 9 here on this list. Yeah, I thought it would be fun. Before in the channel, I've done top 10 episodes, top 10 characters of the series, but I've never done kind of a ranking of the seasons. I've done it for myself, but not really on the channel. In a formal video. So anyways, I thought this would be a lot of fun. I'd love to hear your thoughts, of course. I mean, this is very subjective. Keep in mind, this is only my list, right, of what I kind of like and my favorite seasons of the show. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, right? On a 1 to 9 scale, what would be your favorite? What would be the worst? How do those ones fit in the middle there for you? And all that stuff, right? I've heard some people say Season 9 has been their favorite season of the series. So, love to hear your guys' thoughts on that one. Definitely differing perspectives on this one for sure. So, yeah. And again, I mean, Walking Dead is my second favorite show of all time. So, I love every season, to be honest. I love every season over a lot of other shows. But I thought this would be very kind of cool and interesting to look back on all the seasons and kind of give them a little bit of a ranking together. So anyways, without any further ado, let's get into my ranking of the 9 seasons of The Walking Dead. Alright, so to start things off here, we have number 9, the worst season of The Walking Dead for me so far is Season 7. So to me, a lot of people, I think, agree with this, that Season 7 is now the worst season of The Walking Dead, and I tend to agree. The combination of just so many bottle episodes after, one after another, the whole integration of all these 4 different communities, if you want to count the ocean side, was just really mishandled, in my opinion, and the way they went through with it was very lackluster. They try to go with some character development here with this season, and I just felt like nothing really stuck. Again, I do like to go over notable episodes for each of this season as I go along, and for me in Season 7, it's The Day Will Come When You Won't Be, the premiere for Season 7, of course, the big episode, the highest rated episode of The Walking Dead ever, and the finale. And even then, both of those episodes, obviously They Will Come When You Won't Be is in my probably top 5, top 6 now, but I just felt like all of the episodes in between really were a big letdown. And of course, the whole theme of that season is kind of deciding to go to war with the Saviors, right? And making that decision, them trying to convince Rick. So there are a lot of episodes in there that are just kind of tough to watch, including The Cell, right, with Daryl. One of the toughest episodes of The Walking Dead to watch probably of the whole series. And so to me, I really felt like they just never got the whole potential of it, and they really stretched out the Savior-Ella war storyline way too far, and I felt like Season 7 and even the first half of Season 8 suffered because of it. So there you go. My worst season of The Walking Dead so far is Season 7. Alright, so next on the list, number 8, the second worst, is Season 1. So Season 1 is very hard to categorize for me. It is only 6 episodes, and the pilot is even in there too, which is a little bit detached from the other 5 episodes that are in Season 1, if you look back at it and watch it again. And to me, that pilot is just amazing. And I have Season 1 not the worst, right, because I do feel like the pilot and what they kind of lay the groundwork for in Season 1 led to the great things about Season 2, which you'll see later in this ranking. I really, really enjoyed Season 2, probably more than others. And so the stuff with Shane and the Rick finding his family again, and that moment is gonna go down in infamy when Rick kind of goes and meets Lori and Carl again for the first time. I mean, that moment is just iconic in the show. So I mean, yeah, there's a lot of this stuff about Season 1 that we just don't see in the show anymore, mainly with the walkers and their abilities, with Frank Darabont coming in there with Season 1. But you know what? I actually like it. I like the groundwork, but again, it's only 6 episodes, and it's really hard to put 6 episodes, and maybe even if you want to argue 5 episodes, over a 16-episode season like some of these other seasons. So to me, Season 1 is number 8. Alright, so next at number 7 on my list, this one's a bit of a surprise to a lot of people, I bet, but it's Season 9. Season 9 is number 7 on this list. To be honest with you, season 9, while it feels refreshed and, obviously, I don't think you can fault the writers necessarily, right? You got the departure of Rick and Maggie in one season. I mean, just the departure of Rick is enough to kind of throw off the whole series. And you know what? With what they had to work with, I felt like they did a pretty good job. If we really kind of give them enough credit here for what they were able to do. But honestly, I mean, a lot of the first half of season 9, leading up to Rick's departure episode, and even after that, very slow paced. It wasn't even until the mid-season finale, where the Whisperers come in, where it really starts to pick up, and you really kind of start to care about these characters again, and it's not just the same storyline of unifying the communities over and over and over again. But the second half, I will say, was much stronger in my opinion, especially episode 15, probably, the second best episode of the season. Rick's last episode is probably my third favorite episode of the entire series now. But I just feel like the whole rest of the season really felt a lot like filler. I mean, the introduction of the Whispers was kind of, okay. Episode 15 was pretty good. But I just felt like throughout the whole season, it just felt like a lot of filler and filler and filler, though the dialogue and the character development was a lot stronger this season than season 7. But otherwise, I really do compare season 7 and season 9 a lot. There just really wasn't a lot of stuff that happened in season 9. And again, I felt like with the introduction of the Whispers, you could have done a lot more. And, we'll have to see how far it goes into season 10 with this whole Whisper arc. But I'm starting to worry that they're going to make the same mistake as they did with All Out War and stretch this one out longer than it has to be. Anyways, those are my thoughts on season 9, with Rick leaving. Obviously a huge blow, and that would be probably one of the main reasons why I didn't like it as much. But I will say episode 15 and episode 5 were my two favorites, and probably the only notable ones from this season. Alright, so then at number 6, we have season 8. So, to me, the second half of season 8 is what really redeemed this season. I mean, the first half of season 8 was very disappointing in the way that, the start of it started, just firing all cylinders, and then when you got into episode 5, I would say about there, the second half of the first half was just really slow paced, getting down to kind of that Maggie Gregory storyline where it just was getting really repetitive. But I do feel like the second half of season 8, you get episodes like The Key, obviously the finale, right, Wrath, and yet some other episodes in there. The whole Simon and Negan storyline I really did enjoy, and I felt like that made a lot of sense. You get Lost in the Plunderers, right, with the garbage people, right, the junkyard group getting taken out by Simon, and, obviously that Dwight whole thing, how he turns on them as well, how he turns on Simon, and I just really enjoyed that dynamic. While I do agree that they could have had a better ending for All Out War, a little bit of a lackluster finale to wrap up a war that had been lasting for 2 and, a bit seasons, right, but I do feel like the very start of the season was strong, with those first couple episodes, The Damned, right, that was a very good one there, definitely a notable one. And then you want to talk about the second half, which I thought was a lot stronger. So season 8, I did like All Out War. Again, they stretched it out way too far. It definitely could have been over by the mid-season of season 8. But it is what it is. They dragged it out, and I did like what they did with it. I love Negan too, so that's another thing. I really did come to like Negan, although I still think that they definitely could have killed him off. And we can't forget Carl's death as well in season 8. I thought was handled perfectly. I totally disagree with him being killed off, but his episode Honor is one of the best episodes of Walking Dead for me, probably in the top 10. So I really did enjoy that episode and the way they sent him off, and also the impact that he had then on Rick and the war. So to me, season 8 then, with those notable episodes mentioned there, is number 6. Alright, so then next on my list is number 5, which is season 4. Season 4, I mean, it is really, I mean, if you really do look back at this season, it is quite slow paced, sorry. A lot of people are going to remember, right, the governor whole thing, right, Too Far Gone. One of my favorite, probably yeah, probably my favorite episode, or our second favorite episode of the series. Amazing episode, and the lead up to it, just great. But if you really do look back, I mean, the whole infected storyline takes up a lot of that first half of season 4. 30 Days Without an Accident, the premiere episode. And then episode 6, we get into the governor, and he makes his return with the whole Too Far Gone episode. Of course, with Herschel, very emotional death there as well. But then the second half of season 4 really switches, of course, how they all kind of converge into Terminus. You get the whole story with the claimers, right, with Daryl, losing Beth as well. So some really great stuff with what they had to work with, if you will, right? You had Still, The Grove, you had some of those really memorable episodes where you had, just a bunch of these characters off on their own trying to get to Terminus. And so I did really enjoy the first half of season 4, and there's a really change of pace to any other season before that. To all 3 seasons before that is very, very different from what we saw in those other ones in terms of pacing. And of course the prison then falls. They're forced to go to Terminus. Just a really interesting season that was very dynamic, I feel like, and I still don't think any of the other seasons that have happened since have been at all similar to the type of pacing and the, kind of things that the stories that they followed in this one, and a lot of focus on character development, which I felt like was one of the strongest things about this season. So there you go. Too Far Gone, 30 Days Without an Accident, Still, The Grove, some really notable episode, Live Bait, right? So you had, really some notable episodes in there for season 4, and like I said, Too Far Gone, one of my favorites, and for sure that makes season 4 at number 5. All right, so next on the list is number 4, which is season 3 for me. So season 3 is a whole new Walking Dead. I mean, you want to talk about difference and, kind of a change of pacing, storyline, characters. I mean, it's just a total change from the first 2 seasons of The Walking Dead. We get Woodbury, right? We get the introduction of another community, crazy stuff, right? And then, the first bit of it, we get the prison whole arc with Killer Within, right? Lori dies, gives birth, to Judith, right? So that whole storyline kind of happens, and then Woodbury kind of comes in big with the season 3 and that second half, and they do actually come to the prison, right? It's not as big of a battle as Too Far Gone, but that's a pretty good episode as well, where they go into the tombs, right? Of the prison, and of course T-Dog dies in season 3. So season 3, there were a lot of deaths. Obviously. Andrea dies, right, in season 3, Milton, that whole character arc, the governor, so, just some really kind of arrow on the doorpost, right, that's, a big episode in there too, so, some really great stuff in season 3, and to me, just the way that it kind of reestablished the show and built this bigger universe. Also, This Sorrowful Life, right, of course, with Merle, right, that was a big part too. I don't want to forget to mention that. So yeah, just a really kind of new sense of The Walking Dead in this season, and the whole introduction of the governor was awesome. I still think Negan is the best villain. We'll have to see what Alpha it turns out to be, but Negan is the best villain, but the governor was definitely a great villain for Rick in particular. So anyways, a really great season 3, and like I said, a lot of notable episodes in there. Killer Within, This Sorrowful Life, the finale, the mid-season finale of season 3 was really big too. So yeah, just a really kind of eventful season that really shaped a whole new Walking Dead at the time. Alright, so that now leaves the top 3 seasons. Alright, so number 3 is season 2 for me. I love season 2. And it's a little bit weird because I know a lot of other people really don't like season 2 looking back on it, but with my recent rewatch that I did in the last year, I really, really did enjoy season 2, just the same, or even more than the first time I saw it. The whole Shane dynamic is one of my favorite storylines in the entire series. The Shane and Rick dynamic is awesome. I mean, we get episodes like Nebraska in there, right, with season 2. Of course, the whole Shane, Lori, Rick love triangle thing going on. just some really great episodes in here, and of course the ending of season 2 is maybe the best of it, where we get Beside the Dying Fire, Better Angels, right, with Shane's last episode. And Better Angels, I think, is really underrated. I think it's one of the best episodes of the series, definitely top 10. Really amazing finale where they have to leave Herschel's farm. Of course, we get the Sophia whole storyline playing out in the beginning of season 2. You know what I also, the main thing I really loved about season 2 is that we were all together, right? We were all together on this farm with all these different kind of characters. You still had characters like Dale, who were, one of my favorites of the series. You had characters like Dale, Shane, all these original guys, right? Just thinking back, the nostalgia gets you, right? All in one place and all constantly kind of butting heads, right? I just love this dynamic, and I do also, I really do prefer that over what we're seeing right now with a bunch of these communities being spread out and all this stuff. Again, it was a little bit boring. There wasn't a lot of stuff that happened on this farm compared to what's happening now with the different communities and the whole new world, but I just felt like it was maybe worked better for this type of show, and the horror was always there, of course, and an episode like 18 Miles Out, don't want to forget to mention that one with Shane and Rick. Again, I think probably top 15 for sure, one of the best episodes as well. That was a really awesome episode. So again, that whole Rick and Shane dynamic is probably my favorite of the entire series, and that would probably be my main reason why season 2 would be so high for me. But yeah, really do love season 2, really love watching it back, and also watching Carl become, growing up. That's also a really great part of season 2 as well on the farm. But anyways, so there you go, number 3, season 2. Alright, so at number 2 on my list is season 5. Season 5, I think, I would argue, is the biggest kind of deviation from the comics in the kind of prominent storylines that they give us. So obviously we open up season 5 with No Sanctuary. To me, top 5 episodes of the series of all time. An amazing episode, right, where they have to kind of fight back against Terminus. And then just a couple episodes later, we get Four Walls and a Roof, right, where they take out Gareth. I mean, again, to me, that's a top 15 episode. I love that episode. The way that all goes is really great. So then we get the little, kind of story with Gabriel and them at the church. Abraham wanting to go to Washington. That stuff is all really great. This world's going to need Rick Grimes, right? Iconic stuff. And then, obviously then we get the Beth Hospital stuff, which I actually quite liked. I mean, that was kind of the biggest deviation from the comics I think we've ever seen in the show on that kind of scale. And, it was a little bit lackluster in the way it ended, right, with Beth's death. One of the most emotional deaths of the entire series. Crazy stuff in episode 8, Coda. And then the second half of season 5, going into that, they're on the road, and I really did love that too. That's something that we still haven't really seen in The Walking Dead, of them just being on the road with nothing, just surviving. That's something that we haven't seen in a long time. We see supply runs and stuff, okay, but that's something we have not seen in a while, and that was really great, really well done. And then, at the end of season 5, they get to Alexandria, and that begins that whole thing. So, I really did enjoy that whole thing, of course, with Deanna and all the, Nicholas and all these guys coming together then with the integration into Alexandria. And then, of course, to end everything off, Morgan shows up at the end of season 5. So I really, really enjoyed season 5. It's not number 1 for me. I know for some people it is, but really, really notable, quite a few notable episodes in there. Coda, No Sanctuary, Four Walls and a Roof, the season 5 finale. I mean, just a lot of episodes in there that are some really great ones. So anyways, season 5, again, the second half of season 5 is obviously introducing us to something that we've never seen before again, and that's maybe one of the reasons I like it a lot as well. And of course with Terminus, that's something that we had never seen and we still haven't seen since, with that kind of group of cannibals and that way of life. But anyways, and also they all converge on Terminus too, so they all come together then finally after all that separation in season 4. So season 5 then is number 2. Alright, so number 1 on the list, you could probably guess what it is. It is season 6. To me, this is the best season of The Walking Dead, and I don't think it's even debatable. Let me name off some episodes. So, the Season 6 premiere, you can even, Days Gone By, or not Days Gone By, that's the pilot. The Season 6 premiere was really great, right? Then you go into JSS, that whole herd storyline that's coming in at the beginning of Season 6, right? Then you get No Way Out, which to me is the best episode of the series, and I know a lot of people kind of agree with that. They tend to agree with that. Crazy stuff. So you get the Wolves kind of storyline in there, really quick storyline, by the way, but still really effective in my opinion. And of course JSS comes with that. No Way Out, which honestly, I mean, a lot of people just think of, Rick Carl getting shot by Ron and all that stuff, but they even meet saviors in that episode if you look back, and it's really, really nice how it all brings all of it together, and Rick closing the door with that machete in his hand. Man, or not machete, his axe, just a bunch of other ones had machetes. That is one of the most iconic scenes in the show, especially after Carl just gets shot in the eye, and Rick just has no, just loses consciousness almost, goes out, and then the rest of the people join in, and they take out all of these walkers. Just a crazy, crazy stuff. Like I said, best episode of the series. And then you go back into the back half of Season 6 after No Way Out, and it's great. You get the day, Not Tomorrow Yet, right? Season 6, Episode 12. I think that's a very good episode where they go to the outpost and kill all the saviors there, kind of starting the war. Then you get the Same Boat, which I think is a really good episode for being kind of a bottle/filler episode. One of the best bottle filler episodes of the series, if you want to call it that. And then Last Day on Earth to end off Season 6, getting into the Saviors. And, of course, that lineup at the very end of Season 6 with the cliffhanger. So, of course, I think a lot of people would agree that if Negan had killed Glenn and Abraham in that Season 6 finale, that may actually be the best episode of the series. That would have been an insane episode. But they decided to do a cliffhanger, and, it's all good. I think it was still a very good episode. But, anyways, the whole arc with Season 6... wow, it's just awesome. I mean, the way that they come from the herd and that whole storyline, and they merge it into the saviors, and then they also meet Jesus, right? The New World type of storyline that's coming in. They start meeting these other communities then in Season 7. So Season 6 are really a turning point for the show. Also probably its highest rated season it will ever have. And to me, it is the best season of the show. I think, to be honest, it has the fewest filler episodes, or at least it feels like. I mean, that whole first half is all the wolves, the walkers, getting rid of this herd and working with that. And then the back half, again, really kind of action-packed. And then you get this whole Savior storyline with the introduction of them and Jesus, right? With them going to the hilltop. And so just a really great, great season all around. And to me, it's my number one. It's my number one season of The Walking Dead of all time. All the 9 seasons that are made for the series so far. Alright, so that'll just about do it for my Walking Dead's 9 seasons ranked video here. Just thought it would be really kind of interesting and fun to do, especially right after Season 9 ended. So I would love to hear your thoughts, as I said off the top. Obviously a very subjective list. I know some people will not agree with me here on my choices. But yeah, that's just where I'm at right now. And of course, going into Season 10, maybe if I do another rewatch sometime soon, maybe these rankings will change, right? So it really is kind of, over time changing, kind of ranking system. But to me, Season 6 will remain on top. I'm guessing forever. I don't think The Walking Dead, will ever get back to that level. But again, we'll have to see. A lot of people think Season 9 may even be the best. So it is what it is. Anyways, yeah, love to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. And what did you think of Season 9 as well? That's a big question that's kind of topical for right now. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this this little ranking video. I might be doing some more of these for The Walking Dead because some of my lists that I already have are a little bit outdated. So I might do another top 10 episodes video. And, obviously if you want to see that, please stay tuned. But anyways, guys, again, thank you so much for watching this one. And I'll see you in my next video.
Lay me at the bottom of the river.